What's the most horsepower you guys have made on any platform? Um, for sure, the most horsepower we've ever made was the Time Attack A4
Hmm.
with our 2.9 liter. So it was a R2.9. So we had a R32 head VR6 on a 2.9 liter block, and with the GT, was it with the GT 45?
I think it was the 45. Yeah.
Yeah, the GT 45R. We also ran the GT 42 RS, which made almost the same power. Uh, we made 908 wheel at the Eurotuner GP
With wheels.
with wheel spin on a Mustang, was it?
What was that?
So this was kind of
Yeah,
fun.
it
So
was a while back.
that car had a side exit exhaust. So there were two big exhaust pipes that came out underneath the driver's door, and this particular shop didn't have good ventilation. So they set this big, like, those big 4 foot diameter, just normal fans. They set that in front of the exhaust, so that I could kind of blow the air out a bay door that was nearby. And on that 908 wheel horsepower pull, the exhaust pushed the fan about 3 feet and then knocked it over. So that was a lot of exhaust
Yeah,
coming out,
like
uh,
two and a half inch
going through
waves.
a 4 foot diameter fan.
Yep.
But that was the most power we've ever made, I think.
Yeah, that was on. Yeah, we were getting wheel spin because we were
Hmm.
limited to tires we could run for that event, so we were on like Continental street tires,
Yeah, and that
sport
was
contacts or
about
something.
40, probably 45 pounds of boost, and I believe that was at about 8,500 RPM. Unfortunately, that motor would valve lift
Yep.
above that. We would try to rev it higher.
Yeah,
We
we had
designed
we.
valve springs and we
Yep.
redid the valve train, and it, we eventually moved on from the VR6 partially for that reason. Um, and they're not good high revving motors, unfortunately, because of the way the rockers are set up. They float at
Crazy RPMs.
above 8,500
Yep.
RPM. So, but yeah, that's the most. And then 80TQ, we made an engine dyno verified 850 crank horsepower.
And that was on the. So that was also another class limited. We were running a
Hmm.
2.2 liter for that.
That was a 2.3,
2.3. Okay.
and
There was a limit of displacement
and that
we
was with
could
a
spin.
GT 20, that was a GT 42 RS on 100 octane fuel. So that was completely the
Oh, that's right.
limit.
We were octane limited.
The
That's what
the
it was.
octane was, so we made a lot of power with 100 octane. I mean, it felt like a strung out 91 octane tune, you know.
And that was to like nine something thousand
Not, yeah, we
RPM.
were that was 9,500 in that motor. And that engine had solid lifter valve train, no valve float issues. Um,
Yeah, vacuum pumped on that motor and a bunch of other fun stuff.
but I think one of the most impressive things we did is that subsequently we put a 2 liter tall deck stroker 1.8 T in the time attack car. And at a subsequent Eurotuner GP, we made like 650 wheel
Yeah.
and like 500 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. And there was, I remember there was like a Mercedes twin turbo V12 there, and it made like 700 foot-pounds of torque. And people were like, "Oh my God, it makes so much torque!" And so I just punched some numbers up of torque per liter or torque per cylinder, and our little four cylinder completely decimated this V12 that was making, like, 700 foot-pounds of torque.
Yeah, and that's one of the
That
tough
was like
things
6 liters.
to explain what goes
Yeah,
into making, the power per liter, the amount of power you can make per a
yeah.
given displacement.
But that little motor was extremely powerful, and that was a fun, that those 2 liter tall decks, we were revving that past nine as well. Really nice setup. Cool. That was a great question. Thank
Hmm.
you. We've kind of moved on from the big power game. Like, there's a handful of tuners out there still trying to do that. We've moved on to making high quality, reliable parts that everyone wants, that everyone can
Yeah,
enjoy.
those monster cars are fun, but
Yeah.
it doesn't really help us get,
Mm-mm.
product to you guys that you want. So,
They're good for marketing, but they don't result in like making your B9 S4 faster on the
yeah,
street.
say for
Yeah.
like two or three guys that really want to
Yeah.
go full bonkers.
Yeah. So we just don't focus on that. And then sometimes people accuse us of not being able to do it. But that's what we did for the first, 10, 12 years of the company's history, was all that stuff.
So
We do. Yeah, it's still not going to be a horsepower king, you know. Probably
per
not.
per displacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, our S 4.0T will be a very powerful project. More power than, well,
It's
I
gonna
mean,
be
our
up there.
TTRS makes a ton of power too, but it's on the stock turbo. But